Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Attack on Cowboys. And today we got a jam-packed show as we have Jerry Jones playing hardball. The Dallas Cowboys are currently working on a contract for an all-pro player. And one of the most heavily scrutinized Dallas Cowboys players gets brutally honest. Let's get right into it and be sure to subscribe for more Dallas Cowboys content just like this on the regular. Shut your up. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the most exciting piece of news today in a positive way because everything else is a little bit trifling. We got Cowboys cornerback DaRon Bland is hoping to get a contract done before the start of the season. The Cowboys have had some contract talks with his agent. Bland will be an unrestricted free agent after the season. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that's actually very interesting. The fact that the Dallas Cowboys have spoken to DaRon Bland's agent, which lets you know that a deal is probably coming down the pipeline pretty soon, probably sooner rather than later. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see a couple of different contracts get signed before the start of the season. Maybe a DaRon Bland contract, maybe a Tyler Smith contract. And honestly, maybe that's part of the reason why Jerry hasn't been ready to actually start negotiating what's probably going to be another record-setting contract for the Cowboys. Maybe not just yet. Maybe they're still trying to get some of those dangling participles that Jerry likes to talk about so much. Maybe they want to get a couple more of those things out of the way, and then maybe then they're going to get to Micah. Or maybe Jerry is just being super petty, and he's kind of irritated at the route that Micah chose as it pertains to combating Jerry and his antics when doing these contract negotiations. Because make no mistake about it, Jerry pretty much let us know they're antics. He doesn't really truthfully feel or believe a lot of the things that he says or does. He's not doing it mean-spirited. He's literally doing it to keep the Dallas Cowboys name in the news. Now, regardless of how we feel about that, y'all, we got to understand that's part of the reason that the Cowboys are what they are in current day times as it pertains to just how global, how international of a brand it is, bro. That's part of the reason is because they're constantly spoken about. Now, I understand that a lot of people feels like it's distractions, it's negative, it doesn't help the team and all this other stuff. But honestly speaking, it's just very hard for me to really buy into the team itself. When it's all said and the game is started and those guys are on the field, it's very hard for me to seriously sit here and consider that Jerry going out and commenting about, oh yeah, this guy was injured for X amount of games last year. That type of stuff, you cannot convince me that it's just this huge distraction to the team, especially when literally everybody involved is eating off of it. Literally everybody, the people who criticize them every single day on TV, they're eating off of it. Their checks are bigger. They have more eyes on their product because of it. Content creators like myself actually able to be so many of us because of how large the star is, because of everything that's around and surrounding the star. That's the reason a lot of people that are the biggest critics of Jerry, that's the reason y'all are even able to have a platform, because there's enough people interested in it for you to have a platform. Otherwise, a lot of y'all will be unemployed already, bro. Media members, he gives you something to talk about year round. The players, you get more eyes and cameras on you at all times. You have more facial recognition than anybody else in the league because you constantly have cameras in front of you. And that also includes them asking you about the stuff that Jerry has talked about. Everyone is benefiting from the things that he does. That's my main point here. And I do think it's hypocritical to act like it's only this super negative thing when everyone's actually benefiting from it, and they're knowingly benefiting from it. I just can't be hypocritical like that. It ain't in my blood, bro. I just can't do it, bro. And I'm not saying that because I'm a content creator, I approve what he does. No, I'm a Cowboys fan first. So honestly, I wish the team did focus solely on winning, just so I can feel better about myself in February when the team is actually competing for a Super Bowl. Absolutely, bro. But also, as a human being, as a grown-ass man, I understand the mechanism behind the madness. That's all I'm saying. Now, what I do want to do is I do want to sit here, and as much criticism as we give the front office and everything, they have been doing things a little bit differently all season long, and it's kind of still going on right now in training camp, even though we do have a little bit of bad news as it pertains. I think the Cowboys are done trying to make real substantial moves to the roster. We're going to talk about that in a second. They're trying to get certain guys and key guys locked in early. Now, why they're prioritizing this over Micah Parsons first, I really don't know. But I honestly am starting to feel like, man, Jerry's trying to prove a point to Micah And I think they're trying to establish a new norm just in general for the NFL and how contract negotiations take place, because there's been multiple times now this offseason that Jerry's brought up the fact that Micah Parsons is under contract. Now, let's listen to this clip from Jerry. This is by John Machota, so shout out to the great John Machota. Let's listen to this clip from Jerry real quick, yo. So they're asking Jerry what's stopping him from having contract talks with Micah. And it's a very good question, bro. Very direct.
Really, nothing.
So why don't you talk?
Again, nothing would be that, and we might or might not talk. And,
bro,
the rest of that gets in what we do every day.
Bro, this man Jerry, bro. Look, y'all, I do not approve of Jerry getting super petty like this, but I am gonna say, I told y'all so. I told y'all so as it pertains to it wasn't the right move for them boys to try to go to war with Jerry. I told y'all so as it pertains to a rich billionaire is gonna stand on business and he's not gonna let one of his employees bully him. I told y'all so as in Jerry was going to make this thing more difficult. If you try to buck the system and you try to buck how he does business, you'll try to control how he does business, bro. That's what any old person does. I said this before, man. Y'all go to the oldest member of y'all family right now and try to tell them to do something differently that they normally always do. And you let me know how that go. That's the same thing with Jerry, bro. And so now what we're seeing is a petty ass old man exercising his position of power in a negotiation. This is probably the first time in a minute the Cowboys have actually had so much leverage in any type of contract negotiation, because Dak has been bending them over the last time or two that they did negotiations. And we know how the negotiations ended with Zeke. CD pretty much got where everything that he wanted. This feels like Jerry's like, hey, man, I got all the leverage right here. He's under contract for another year. We got 2 franchise tags in our pocket. And damn it, I'm ready to negotiate when I'm ready to negotiate. That's what this sounds like, bro. And that's where I didn't want this to get. And that's why I said all that freedom marching and trying to encourage these guys to do goofy stuff and having the players trying to fight a fans battle, all that stuff, these dudes cannot afford to do that because they have the most to lose. And everybody's talking, oh, Michael's not going to lose it. Yes, he can, bro. If Jerry really, really, really wanted to be petty, first of all, Micah Parsons is going to be losing $1.4 million per game check. $1.4 million per game check. So those of y'all that are like, oh, maybe Micah will sit out. Ed Warder already said it. Facts are facts. What Jerry said is accurate. They have the option of forcing him to play final year of his contract. Then he has to decide whether to do so or miss game checks of $1.4 million per week. Who's missing a $1.4 million check? Jerry knows he has all the leverage. If Micah doesn't play ball, then he's at risk of Le'Veon Belling himself. And that's not me taking sides. That's me trying to be objective and give y'all the honest truth of what this situation is, bro. Yes, I would love to live in fantasy land with the people who feel like just because they think away or just because they feel away or just because they feel like something ain't fair, then they could change stuff. That's not how real life works, bro. And that's not what this situation represents, because the young man has not enough leverage in this moment. He just doesn't, bro. The Cowboys have 3 years of control over him. And if honestly, if he the biggest thing he can do to play hardball is just to stop playing. And he's not going to do that. He is not about to sit out 3 seasons. That effectively is going to end his career, bro. So yeah, Jerry getting a little bit petty. And Joseph Hoyt said he asked Jerry Jones whether they need to make an addition in the cornerback room considering their injuries. Jerry said, quote, "It's probably hard to make an addition at this point in training camp, but certainly the numbers as we start the season are ones that we've got a very close eye on." So he kind of commented on that as it pertains to defensive tackle and the cornerback room. So cornerbacks, I think that they're looking at how soon are some of these guys going to get back. I think as we get closer to the season starting and they really figure out the timeline of Diggs and Butler and Kalen Carson and Savone Revel, once they figure out the timeline of 4 corners that they have on the injury list right now, and they're not going to be able to be available early enough in the season, then they're probably going to add a vet to that room. But by all accounts, Brett, Jerry done pretty much let us know that they're done adding to the 53-man roster, was projected to be the 53-man roster in a meaningful way. So I wouldn't hold our breath on a defensive tackle or cornerback getting added, and that's just based off the information that was given today. And this is what Jerry had to say about if contract talks will pick up with Micah Parsons when the Cowboys get back to Texas.
I don't know that necessarily talks will, but we've got a game coming, and he's under contract.
He done brought that under contract thing up several times. And again, I think that owners are about to try to make a point to these agents more than anything that, hey, man, We went from negotiating or re-upping deals the year before players hit unrestricted free agency because that helps benefit the team in the sense of we don't have to negotiate against anybody and the player can get paid again without having to feel like they're playing on a final year. I do remember hearing Jerry say multiple times earlier this offseason and during training camp, he's brought up the fact that now guys are starting to try to negotiate contracts 2 years before their deal is up. Instead of that season before, now they're trying to do it 2 years before. And owners get to the point of like, hey, man, are you going to actually serve out your contract that you signed already? Are you actually going to do what you're supposed to do by the contract that you signed? Because perfect example, Cam Hayward up there with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he signed a new deal, I believe, last summer, and he's trying to renegotiate a deal now because he made an all-pro. And he felt like the dude he negotiated didn't represent an all-pro. Now he wants to go back to the table. And it's like, nah, bro, you signed a 3-year contract. You got to do that contract, be consistent in your play, and then you get the raise. So I completely understand from that perspective. But in this case, Micah doesn't have multiple years left. He has 1 year left, and that's that option year. So I don't know why Jerry is so stuck on he's under contract. He's under contract because Jerry, after this season, he's not under contract. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about with that? It seems like to me, bro, Jerry done kind of got petty with it. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Jerry done turned into Petty Jones here. Now, the last thing I kind of want to discuss real quick, man, Mazi Smith being brutally honest. I respect this. I absolutely respect this. And he a Cowboy. He a human being. So at the end of the day, I do want the best for the kid. I do hope that his game kind of comes around. But Mazi was brutally honest with himself. He said, quote, I just have to keep getting better. He said the first preseason game I wasn't happy with at all, to be honest. I didn't do anything. I just need to keep learning the scheme and keep getting off the ball. He said, I just didn't do anything, you know? Like, you got to do something. I'm a first-round pick. There's expectations and all that. This is my 3rd year. Hey, bruh, for all those people, once again, who out there trying to get the pitchforks, and I don't know what it is. People that made it into a game. These other content creators and stuff in the community, bruh, it's like people that made it into a trend of trying to discredit AOC, bruh. Mazi Smith just said the same thing I was saying. It wasn't that like he was getting just bullied on tape, but he wasn't doing nothing. There was not much of a noticeable difference between him and Toya. And yes, Toya has his areas to work on, but the dude is a rookie. He's a 7th-round rookie at that. So I am grading them and looking at them differently with Mazi being a 3rd-year, 1st-round pick. Come on, bruh. Come on. So they shouldn't even be nowhere close to each other. So to me, if Toya even looks similar to Mazi on the field or the results are similar, then to me that means Toya is playing better than what Mazi was playing at that period of time. That's why I'm saying that Toya looks like he's more prepared or better prepared to play that position, bro. It's not about, oh, he's putting up this amazing tape and all that stuff right now. No, there's areas of improvement for sure. But just comparing where they are, bro, it should not look like that at all. And Mazi just told you himself, it should not look like that. I got to do better. And so if he's saying that, shame on y'all out there trying to go out y'all way and show, oh, look, y'all AOC don't know what he's talking about. Look how great Mazi is on film when he just said his damn self, I ain't doing nothing on film. So what that make y'all look like when y'all out here trying to convince people that Mazi is doing all this amazing stuff on film when he himself just said he ain't doing nothing on there, bro? What that make y'all look like? Make y'all look like cappers. Make y'all look like, oh, I'm just hating, just to try to prove AOC wrong. Because it's funny, I done seen people actually now make videos trying to trash Jay Toya. Trying to trash Jay Toya because they want to have the contrarian point of view from me. Come on, bro. Y'all are getting sad, bro. Some of y'all, hey, man, y'all need to have an identity outside of waking up every day trying to figure out how you can hate on the next man. That's all I'm going to say, bro. But Mazi, I respect the self-awareness. I respect the brutal honesty, and I respect the fact that you're trying to be better. And he had a better day at practice for sure. We just got to see it consistently, bro. We got to see it consistently. So I do hope the best for the dude. Remember, y'all, he a Cowboy. So if he ends up coming around this year, don't try to be right. Don't root for the kid to be bad so you can be right. Hope that he comes around and prove the people that are saying he's bad, including myself right now. Hope that he proves all of us wrong because that helps the team, bro. And that's just what it is. But either way, appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. See y'all on the next one. Them Cowboys.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boy? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Hey! I'm still them boys.